لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بسم الله والحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عبد الذي اصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه المهتدي الفضلاء. الله أكبر 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 الله أكبر. May we indeed begin always by seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from saying the accursed. Begin in His beautiful name, the merciful, the especially merciful, and we praise Him, the Lord of the worlds, and we beseech Him to send His peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A quick shout out to all of the parents, to all of the parents of young children. We think sometimes it inconveniences us that the young believers are upset that maybe they don't have their meal, or that they're crying because of the loud auditorium, or because of the takbirat. But wallahi al-azim, it's an absolute blessing to have them here. And it's an absolute blessing to have so many mothers and fathers in the building, alhamdulillah. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Verily Allah reminds us in the Quran, in His most holy book, O those of you who have iman in your hearts, be mindful of Allah. Be mindful of Him in a way that befits His majesty, and do not die in any other state except being in total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recognizing the truth of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, another season of Eid, another season of celebration, but also another season of immense istighfar and tawbah, of returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us at the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Indeed, God does not burden any person in the fara'id, in their deen, with more than that they can handle. Everything that Allah puts an obligation upon us is something that is doable for all of us. لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. Any good that the soul earns, it's for its own benefit. And any evil that the soul acquires is at its own loss. And it is in this light that we remind ourselves that today we are in as hedonistic of an era as previous prophets or previous peoples. Today, just like the people before us and others before them, we are combating between following our pleasures, the age of following our passions, the age of coveting as much material wealth for ourselves, in comparison to the characteristics of the prophets alayhi salatu wassalam. May Allah be pleased with them. So our soul is being tugged in two directions: to give into this dunya, to give into myself, to give into my whims and my desires and my passions, or to be principled in my character. Who am I going to follow? The path of the shaitan, or the path of the anbiya that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laid before us? And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a beautiful example in our forefather Ibrahim, where he was tempted to give into his doubts, to give into himself, to give into the love of the dunya, manifested in the love of his son, over the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And indeed, he cast the devil away. He cast the devil away and allowed himself to embrace with full certainty the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he had the encouragement of his son. Many fathers, many mothers complain that children aren't respectful or obedient to their children. Well, maybe we're not like Sayyidina Hajar. Maybe we're not like Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. Maybe we lived up to such a prophetic example as being a great example of a man, a great example of a woman, then maybe our children would follow us blindly as Sayyidina Ibrahim had with his son Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salatu wassalam. So we have Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam being tempted by the devil, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the courage and gave him the iman to withstand such a temptation. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about him? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Salamun ala Ibrahim. كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands the entire creation, informs all of creation that upon Ibrahim, the salam of Allah is, Allah sends His peace and blessings upon him. And he is from the people who have been greatly rewarded by God Almighty, and he is indeed amongst those who are the nearest of believers. The people who have Allah, all the people who have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the core of their existence. But again,
Through the story of Ibrahim, we are reminded that through the beauty of their own patience, and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were rewarded with great openings, and they were elevated in status for many generations of human beings to remember them. Who can go around the earth and not hear about the story or the legacy of Sayyidina Ibrahim? Who amongst the Muslims does not remember him, amongst the Christians and amongst the Jews, and even amongst the non-monotheistic religions? وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فإنه غفور رحيم.